Good morning, you sensational sales superstar. It's Friday. Are you ready for it? And it is day 2 of our lockdown. So I want to come here and say a big giant hello and welcome you to the morning sales setup. The morning sales setup. I've only had one cup of coffee so far, so you know it's going to take a moment. I wanted to say a big giant hello. I also wanted to welcome you to this morning session, which we're going to talk a bit about loving the gatekeeper. Now, the great news is that you should be seeing me in technical and hearing me coming right into your ears today after a few little technical glitches yesterday. If you didn't get the audio yesterday, you will find that video is now live in yesterday's event, or you can hop across to the YouTube channel and pick it up from there if you would like. So today and every day through this UK lockdown, I am going to be going live at 9, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having 10 minutes of sales tips, hints, inspiration, and a bit of motivation to keep you going through the day. So today we are going to talk all about gatekeepers. So why is that? That is because actually there is such a lot said about gatekeepers and said, oh, hey Mark, I should say if you're here as well, I'd love to know. Give me hello in the comments. I would love that. That makes me feel very happy, and it means that I'm not there on my own, which is always a fantastic start. It would also be great to know that you can hear me as well, because I know we had a little challenge with that yesterday. So let me know in the comments that you can hear me and that I'm all coming through nice and clearly. Okay, so let's get straight. Gatekeepers are fantastic for us here in sales. We might not always think it, but actually they're great for us. So let me tell you a little bit about why we should love our gatekeepers. To give us the time, I haven't got course got Parrot Pete. He is going to give us 10 minutes on the clock. So let's go. All right. So we should love gatekeepers because they are there and doing their job. Now, this is a biggie for us. It's a biggie because actually they're doing us a huge favor. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Alison, all joining us there now. Great to see everyone coming in. Lovely to see some people joining me live. Okay, so we should love our gatekeepers because they're doing us a big favor. What? What do you mean? They won't let me talk to the person that I want to. They're not doing me a favor. Okay, I got you. I hear that. But actually, we should adore them. Let me tell you why. Well, the first thing is that we need to recognize that gatekeepers are actually just doing their job. And their job is to make sure that actually we are getting through to the right people, and that actually having got through to the right people, we're having a great conversation, because their job is to make sure the person that we want to speak to isn't being bothered by stuff that's not relevant to them. They're just doing their job, and their job is to make sure that the person that we want to speak to doesn't have their time wasted, doesn't have a bad experience, and doesn't end up speaking to people who they don't know who they are, they don't know what it's about, and essentially that they don't want to interrupt their day to have the conversation with. So that's like a real job that they've got, and we should respect that. It's really easy for us not to do that. But if a gatekeeper doesn't put us through, it's because they don't think that we are going to make good use of the time with the person we want to speak to, and that the person we want to speak to doesn't want to speak to us. So actually, our very first sales job is always with the gatekeeper. And actually, I think one of the things to remember right now, while we're in lockdown, some people are working from home, some people are working in different areas. And one of the key things that I would say is that I've been fascinated to see over the last 6 to 8 months, who's actually picking up the phone. One of the key things to remember right now is that actually it's not always the receptionist right now, because people are working in different locations or they are working from their home offices. Actually, sometimes that call when you call into a business is being answered by somebody different, maybe even the person that you want to speak to. And that's one of the reasons that I recommend that you never, ever tell a lie to the gatekeeper, because you don't actually necessarily know who you're speaking to, especially not now. So I know that I've seen people sometimes recommend, say, oh yeah, they already know who I am. They already know who it's about, when you've never spoken to them and they don't know what it's about. Okay, here's your hot tip. You could be talking to that person right now. And guess what? You just kill that relationship forever. So I think right now, especially, really respect your gatekeeper. And remember, we need to tell the truth. We need to be honest and open. But equally, we need to make sure that we quickly get across to them and actually jump through and show them why it's a great idea for them to put us through to their boss. Because remember, they want to do a great job. They want their boss to say, thanks so much for putting that person through. It was such a useful call. Oh, hi, Sam. Brilliant. Oh, Sam, I'm doing a great job on your internet today. Jeff, great to see you there. I'm so pleased you can hear me. I'm so happy. It's a great change. All right. So we love our gatekeeper. They're going to do us a favor. They're going to get us the right person. They're going to put us through. All right. What do we need to do to make sure that that happens? All right. Well, the first thing that we need to do is make sure we know who the hell we want to talk to. Okay. Now that might sound really elementary, but actually, you know what? When you ring up and say, can I speak to the person who deals with XYZ? Straight away, the gatekeeper knows this is probably a sales call. You don't know who you want to speak to, so they don't know you. That person's really busy. This is pretty low priority to put through. And actually, in this day and age, let's be honest, it's so easy to get the name of who you want to speak to. Look at all the social media there is out there. Go Google the company, check the company page, check it on here. I mean, it's so easy to find the name of who you want to speak to. And if you still can't find the information, then I would suggest you use a 2-call strategy. Don't try and do it all on one call. On the first call, ring up with a really simple request. I just wanted to check, I'm updating our records. Can you tell me who deals with X? That's really easy for a gatekeeper to tell you. At that point in time, you simply say, thanks so much. I'll make that change now. Goodbye. Okay. The reason is, if you then say, can you put me through? They already know that you don't know that person. So you've already shown your hand. So this is where it's a 2-call strategy, because what you're going to do on the second call in a few days' time is ring up and ask for that person by name. Okay, so if you really can't get it, ring up and get it like that. You'll have a much greater chance of success. And I'd also recommend that when you ring and ask to speak to that person, use the first name, because that implies and infers a personal relationship, which means that you're more likely to get a warm response from both the gatekeeper and actually the person that you're speaking to. Now, the second thing that I said was we need to, in effect, sell to the gatekeeper. Now, I want to be really clear here. Do not sell your product or service to the gatekeeper. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. They're not going to buy it. So don't sell it to them. It's a waste of your time, okay? What you need to sell is the call. Why? What is the reason? What is the benefit to that person and to the person that you want to speak to in transferring and taking that call? This is all about what's in it for them. And this is where salespeople sometimes get really confused and they end up selling the product and not actually selling the call. Let me know in the comments. Do you sell the product on these calls, or are you selling the call? Let me know. Let me know. Because what we need to do is we need to make sure that actually when we're putting these calls, when we're speaking to the gatekeeper, we're giving them a key benefit for the person to take the call. Why would they want to speak to us? What am I going to offer that is so compelling? Is it some information that they're going to find really interesting about stepping their company forward? Is it something that's going to save them time or money? But even if it is, how is this call going to help them? So quite often it might be you might want to ring through and say, I want to update them on some changes around XYZ. I'm calling to speak to X because they need to know about this legislative amendment. I wanted to get in touch around some new options around saving money on ABC. Really big headlines. You don't need to sell the product or service. You just need to send getting that call transferred. So think about that. What is your reason? And plan it before the call. And I'd always suggest that after the call, especially if this is like coldish calling, I would really recommend that actually in advance of this, come up with a few different reasons, try them out and run with the best one. Like I said yesterday, set yourself a little target. How many calls are going to get you through to how many contacts? Because you could be the best salesperson in the world, but if you can't get through to speak to anyone, like, you're done. So just remember, this call, the Gatekeeper call, is about selling the transfer. It's about selling, getting that call transferred. And I really think that you can do something by being BBA. Okay, BBA stands for bright, breezy, assumptive. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is, if you ring up and ask, then you have the opportunity for someone to say no. If you're super assumptive, you're going to get through, then actually the likelihood is you're going to get through. So if you're just really matter of fact, I'm calling to speak to Bob, it's Victoria, thanks. Actually, that's going to get you a long way. I've given the name of the person I want to speak to. I've given my name and I've said thanks, because I'm assuming they're just going to put me straight through. That approach in itself, that tone of voice and that bounce, actually quite often will bounce people through. That was Pirate Pete. He's not buzzing very much at the moment, but he did give me a buzz there. I don't know if you heard it. So that is our 10 minutes. The last thing I just want to say about that as well is, just remember that once you get put through, once you build a relationship, to make that gatekeeper look good. They did a brilliant job by putting you through, and they've got that information to the right person. So they're now your friend. So remember to make sure that they get the credit for that opportunity as well. Guys, that was 10 minutes on loving your gatekeepers. So let me know in the comments, do you love your gatekeepers? Because my view is, if your gatekeeper doesn't love you, that's because you don't deserve to get through. If they say no on that transfer, then that's not because they are a horrible person, as I think some people in sales would say. It's because you have not sold the reason that they should put your call through. So I want to know in the comments, how do you do today? How many times can you get through the decision maker? This has been our Friday sales step up. I want to know how you step up your sales after today's session. I'm also super excited for what's coming next week. We've got some really cool things in the pipeline. And on Monday, I'm going to be talking about why it is never too expensive. So if you ever hear your prospect or customer say to you, it's too expensive, then I can tell you right now, it's not. So find out why and how to do something about it. Join me right here, 9 o'clock on Monday morning, same bat time, same bat place. And in the meantime, have a fantastic lockdown weekend. What are you doing? Are you doing something cool? I'd love to know. So let me know, and enjoy it as much as you can. So until then, thanks so much for joining me today. And I will see you very soon.